Ladies and gentlemen, I'm looking directly at the camera while I'm saying this. Triple H had a slam dunk with this Cody Rhodes Randy Orton feud and this angle of who was on the phone with Randy Orton. All he had to do was have Randy's dad, Cowboy Bob Orton, on the other side of the phone. And then you take the promo that Stephanie McMahon had on Cody on Monday, with Cody not having a killer instinct, and you have another person in someone's ear talking to Cody, and that person being Arn Anderson. That way, you have Cowboy Bob in Randy's corner, and you have Arn Anderson in Cody's corner. WWE and Triple H had a slam dunk. And what did they do? They threw the ball away. They turned it over. They folded. Patrick Mcafee was revealed as the secret caller. Pat McAfee. You are telling me Pat McAfee for 3 weeks were the voices inside of Randy Orton's head? I'm laughing because that sounds absolutely ludicrous. That is insane. That is horrible booking. They had an easy slam dunk with this whole phone call mystery. And how Cody can have that killer instinct. And they folded. They dropped the ball. And now, for 2 years in a row, at WrestleMania in Las Vegas, WWE is going to have celebrities ruin one of their main events. Last year, it was ruined by Travis Scott and John Cena. This year, they're going to have it ruined by Pat McAfee and Randy Orton. And oh, by the way, we can't forget about Jelly Roll. Jelly Roll's going to have a role in this too because he got RKO'd last week. And just everything about this was just... it was pathetic. It was truly pathetic. The promo that Pat cut was one of the strangest, most forced promos I've ever heard. How in the world how can TKO and WWE be so moronic to think that this is going to boost ticket sales? Because, oh, by the way, they had a sale today, no fee Friday, on WrestleMania tickets for 1 day. I doubt anybody is running the Ticketmaster to go pay $299 a ticket to go sit on top of the roof at Allegiant Stadium in 3 weeks. Especially after tonight. After tonight. I can tell you guys right now, too. What do we have here? Let's see. Go to my notes app on my phone. We have 13 matches confirmed for WrestleMania. 13. I'm excited for 3. I'm excited to watch 3 of those matches. That is horrible. That is downright horrible. And I hope I can get excited for more, but This build to WrestleMania, WWE does not care. As long as they only care about the almighty dollar, that's all they care about. As long as they have money in their pockets, that's all they care about. And I hate saying this because I I look forward to WrestleMania every year. I look forward to it every year. I'm still gonna watch it. I'm still gonna be excited all day for it because it's WrestleMania. It's one of the biggest shows of the entire year. It's the biggest WWE show of the entire year. But at this point, WWE needs a reality check, and WWE, they need a slap in the face. It's gotten to the point where I hope WrestleMania flops this year. I really do. So we're going to talk about everything that happened tonight with what Pat McAfee said, with what Cody Rhodes said towards the end of the show, which, by the way, it was a good promo, but it didn't save anything that happened at the beginning of the show because what happened at the beginning of the show with this Pat McAfee stuff, it sucked the life out of the crowd. Where the most entertaining part of the entire 3 hour show for wrestling fans was reading on social media to see how people were crashing out about Pat McAfee. So, we're going to talk all things Smackdown tonight. I appreciate you guys joining me. It is a big weekend. Happy Easter weekend to everybody out there celebrating. It is Easter weekend. It is also Final Four weekend, too. Final Four taking place tomorrow night. Illinois versus UConn, Michigan versus Arizona. Very excited for that. And I just hope everybody has a great and safe weekend, man. And I'm on my spring break this week. So I'm even more excited. There will be no Raw review Monday. Okay? No Raw review Monday this upcoming Monday. There's no chance I'm not missing. There's no chance I'm watching Monday Night Raw over the national championship. Not happening. So there will be no Raw review on Monday. So that is that. And if you haven't already, be sure to go ahead and check out my Raw review. This past Monday, they were live from Madison Square Garden. And then Wednesday, AEW Dynamite review with the return of Chris Jericho. Lots to talk about over there with that show. Those two podcasts will be up in the last 20 seconds of this podcast. Click on it and it'll take you right there. But of course, don't do that until you watch the entirety of this Friday Night Smackdown review. Gotta get the energy of me of watching 3 hours of just straight putrid wrestling. A putrid wrestling show. So Randy Orton kicks off the show. And they're live from St. Louis, Missouri, the hometown of Randy Orton. And another thing I do want to point out is this is them trying to do anything possible to get these people to boo Randy Orton. He said, I'm not doing it for you people here in St. Louis. I'm not doing it for the young talent in the back. Who I'm doing it for is I'm doing it for my family who's sitting in the front row here tonight. And then Cody comes out and they start brawling. they do another brawl. They do another brawl, and this is coming off one of the worst pull apart brawls ever last week with Cody and Randy. So Cody is getting the best of him, and he turns around. Pat McAfee is standing in the ring with an RKO Everybody shirt on, and he low blows Cody Rhodes. He kicks him right in the nuts. He's stomping on him. He's stomping on him. Randy is hitting Cody with a steel chair. The crowd doesn't know whether or not to boo this or cheer this because they love Randy Orton, okay? These people love Randy Orton no matter what. And I love Randy too. It is just a damn shame that this is the story that Cody and Randy have to go with at WrestleMania. It's horrible. So Pat gets on the microphone, and most of the shit that he says, it like doesn't even make sense. It comes off forced. This promo was 100% written by Triple H. And it's Triple H burying his own company. He gets on the microphone and he talks about the bad business of WWE and how Cody Rhodes is a chump of a champion. And Randy Orton is going to save the fucking business. That's literally what he said at the end. He's like, Randy Orton is going to save the fucking business. Pat got on the promo and he says, why, when I turn on WWE TV, I have to watch two 5'5" guys do a 45-minute Iron Man match 10 weeks straight for no rhyme or reason when Randy Orton is around. Pat McAfee is clearly not watching the show. Gosh, we'll be lucky to get 45 minutes of wrestling on a 3-hour Smackdown. Let alone a 45-minute match. Pat McAfee doesn't even know his own product. He doesn't even know the own product he's a part of. He don't care about this. He don't watch weekly. So he doesn't watch the product. He's just out there. I have no idea who the fuck gave him that one. He talks about the current state of WWE. He says that. He says why he buried he's burying the talent. He's burying Unreal, the document series. He says, why do I turn on Netflix and I see all of Gorilla circle jerking themselves episode after episode when Randy Orton is around? Tickets to WrestleMania are somehow still available when Randy Orton is around. Yeah, and guess what? WrestleMania is not going to be sold out this year. And the only way they're going to sell out WrestleMania is if they just put people in the building during the show. Because that shit is not going to sell out this year. And Smackdown, fresh off the worst rated episode of all time, has a puppet for a champion. A man that represents everything we hate. And then later, McAfee does a video and says, if Randy Orton loses the Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania, I will never show up to another professional wrestling show ever again. So there you go. WWE just spoiled. They just spoiled the outcome of that match for WrestleMania. Because you're not going to say that. You're not going to say that and then have Randy lose. That's just not going to happen. He says the business that Cody Rhodes is leading is terrible, and that Randy Orton is going to save the fucking business. Absolutely one of the worst segments I've ever seen watching WWE. I'm not exaggerating that either. I have been a WWE fan for like 18 years now. I've been watching this product since I was 17 years. I've been watching WWE since I was 6 years old, okay? 6. I'm now 23 years old. That was one of the worst segments I think I've ever watched as a wrestling fan. And I've seen a lot of bad ones. In I've seen a lot of bad ones in the Vince McMahon area. From 2016 to about 2021, I've seen a lot of bad segments. This is up there for one of the worst segments I've ever seen. He buries the fans too and says we need Attitude Era fans back. Like, that's so fucking random, and that has absolutely nothing to do with the story. Pat McAfee has nothing to do with this story. Pat McAfee does not have a wrestling royal family. He does not have a connection to the Rhodes family. He does not have a connection to the Orton family. Neither does Jelly Roll. And it's just mind-boggling that WWE feels the need to have celebrities get involved in their biggest matches. Not just any match. Like I'm not a fan of the stuff they're doing with Speed, but I'm not as bothered as what they're doing with iShow Speed as I am with Jelly Roll and Pat McAfee. Why? Because they're celebrities that have no business being involved in a WrestleMania main event match. They have no business in that whatsoever. We have Pat McAfee, Jelly Roll, iShow Speed, and Little Yachty all involved in WrestleMania this year. And I want to bring something up to you guys. I have to find it real quick, and I saw it on social media tonight. Let me see if I can find it. Here it is. This is what Kenny Omega said in an interview nearly a year ago. Kenny Omega talks about how that we're heading down a path where a few years from now, the main event of WrestleMania is going to be Logan Paul versus Mr. Beast. I don't know if I've ever said it publicly or not. I think we're headed down a path where a couple of WrestleManias down the road, the main event is going to be Logan Paul versus Mr. Beast. And it's like, what's the wrestling acumen? How many miles have they put into it? It's like, does it matter? This is process of evolution. And now we have all these celebrities. We have all these celebrities being involved in WrestleMania, taking away spots from guys like Carmelo Hayes, guys like Ilya Dragunov, people that have been there the entire year, busting their ass on the road all week. They work all year for this show, and it gets taken away from them. Carmelo Hayes busted his ass for 3 months to get the rug pulled underneath from him, so that people like Pat McAfee, so that people like Jelly Roll can be involved in WrestleMania. People that aren't even active And this isn't going away. Every year we're gonna see more celebrities pull up on WWE TV. I bet we'll see a lot of them at SummerSlam. And I'm not trying to I'm not trying to blame anybody for this, but it's not like intentionally his fault. Another example, WWE's been mentioning Tom Brady on on TV as well. Tom Brady is part owner of the Las Vegas Raiders. WrestleMania is in Allegiant Stadium. Wouldn't be shocked at all if Tom Brady has a segment at WrestleMania. That's that's now 5 celebrities. Wouldn't be shocked if Tom Brady's a part of WrestleMania. Um, I'm not trying to pinpoint anybody. I'm not trying to say it's intentionally their fault, but I blame this on Logan Paul. And the reason I blame this on Logan Paul is because he came into WWE and he blew everybody away. Everybody was saying how great Logan Paul's matches were. Logan Paul was in main events with Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns, and he was wrestling Randy Orton, and he was winning titles against Rey Mysterio, and all these people were blown away by Logan Paul. And WWE saw it, so now they overpush Logan Paul. People don't like Logan Paul because WWE futures Logan Paul too much. And Logan Paul started this movement of more celebrities. Travis Scott, Jelly Roll, Machine Gun Kelly, I Show Speed, Pat McAfee. I'm sure there's more. I just can't name them off the top of my head. And, you know, what's going to happen next is they're going to get blown away by somebody else. They're going to get blown away by I Show Speed's performance and the bumps he takes. They get blown away by I Show Speed getting speared by Braun Breaker at the Royal Rumble in 2025. WWE sees it. They post it 1,000,000 times, and they keep bringing these celebrities back because people are talking about it. And sure, this could appeal people who don't watch WWE on a weekly basis, who don't watch on Monday and Friday, or they're just I don't know how to explain it, but I mean, can this open other people's eyes, like sports fans' eyes? I mean, maybe Pat McAfee's a popular figure in the sports world. It could open eyes for people who love music, because Jelly Roll is a big part of music with his country music. But being a part of a WrestleMania main event match, quite frankly, to me, to somebody who watches the shows every week, and these guys only pop up during WrestleMania or SummerSlam season, it's a slap in the face. It's a downright slap in the face. It's disgusting. It's pathetic. And I absolutely hate it. We got to move on because we are 24 minutes into the show and we've only talked about Randy Orton, Cody Rhodes, Jelly Roll, and Pat McAfee. So we'll go quick with these next couple ones. Rhea Ripley versus Michin. Building to Rhea Ripley versus Jade Cargill, which is not the most exciting build to WrestleMania. Jade Cargill, I just don't think is credible enough of a champion to get people excited. Rhea Ripley taps out Michin tonight. They have a 3-on-1 attack with Jade and B-Fab taking out Rhea Ripley. They're going to do the same thing they did to Rhea last week. This time, Io Sky comes out to make the save. And she has a backstage segment with Rhea saying she's always going to have Rhea's back. Whatever. Just get me to WrestleMania. Just put this belt on Rhea Ripley so that we could get it off of Jade Cargill. She's not a good champion. Nobody cares about this faction with Michin and B-Fab. Let's just get this over with. Let's get this title on Rhea Ripley in Las Vegas. Backstage segment with Solo Sikoa and the MFTs. They said they need to protect this lantern now more than ever because they lost the tag team titles. Howdy has challenged me for the lantern, but I don't want to put it on the line I don't want to be the one to do it because I want to protect the lantern. And Tonga Loa was going to step up and do it first, but then Thomas like, why are we fighting for the lantern? Basically saying it's a waste of fucking time, like everybody on social media is. So Solo says, how about you go fight for the lantern then? So it's Howdy versus Tama Tonga. And Solo comes out with the lantern. He's about to hit Howdy with it, but he stops. The official tells Solo to back off. Tama Tonga is screaming in Solo's face. He turns around. He takes his sister Abigail from Uncle Howdy. Howdy wins. Solo comes into the ring. Howdy leaves. Tama and Solo, they argue back and forth. Tama says, we're leaving the lantern here. We're not taking it with us. We're done with it. Tama puts the lantern down. They argue back and forth. Howdy takes the lantern. And I hope that's the end of the feud. If that's the end of the feud right there, amen. Amen. It's been too long. They started in October. It's now April. Let's move on. Howdy got his lantern back. The MFTs don't have the tag team titles. Let's move in a different direction. So now, we move up to the 9 o'clock hour. And we have Trick Williams coming out with Little Yachty. And Little Yachty's rapping down to the ring. Or not rapping, he's just screaming out, what? So Trick Williams cuts a promo about inviting Little Yachty to WrestleMania, and Little Yachty accepts. And then Trick goes on to talk about Sami Zayn and Sami Zayn only getting to WrestleMania because of Trick Williams. Trick Williams stole Sami's pyro. He said, give me Sami Zayn's pyro. And the pyro went off. Sami Zayn came out. He said, the presentation, the entrance, the rap music, Little Yachty, that's awesome and all, but all the fur coats, all the rap superstars, all the great music, it's not going to save you because when you're in the ring with me, you're in with one of the best to ever do it. And these people are booing the shit out of Sami Zayn. Now, I think this is happening for one of two reasons. Number one, Trick Williams is just so over right now. Trick Williams is easily the most over wrestler on Smackdown. Nobody is going to boo Trick Williams. His charisma is off the charts. He's solid in the ring. But this man, he can freaking talk. and he's so good. And it's just if you give people the choice between Sami Zayn and Trick Williams, they're gonna take Trick. Okay, that's the number one reason why Sami Zayn is getting booed. Nobody, absolutely nobody, is gonna boo Trick Williams. It's just like Cody versus Randy. They're trying to make you boo Randy Orton. They're doing everything they possibly can to make you boo Randy Orton. Will it work? I don't know. But the fans don't hate Randy Orton. The fans aren't gonna hate Trick Williams. And then the second reason they're booing Sammy is horrible creative. Like there was no need. There was no need to take that United States Championship off of Carmelo Hayes last week. Why does this Trick Williams Sami Zayn match need to be for the United States Championship? This match doesn't need a championship. If anything, it just makes Sami Zayn look even worse. Because Sami Zayn's whole thing is going after the WWE Championship. He wants to be a world champion, not the United States champion. So it's bad for the Sami Zayn character. And it's just Sammy. People chanting Sammy Hogan. And they're booing him. And right now, he's supposed to be the babyface. WWE is going to have no choice but to do a double turn at WrestleMania. They have to at this point. Mello comes out and he says he doesn't like the way Sami Zayn did things last week. He took advantage of a situation. And the only reason he accepted that challenge was because he heard Trick was going to WrestleMania. And if Trick wasn't going to WrestleMania, Sami Zayn wouldn't have been out there last week. Somebody else would have. So Mello demands him that he gets his rematch tonight for the United States Championship. And Sammy is basically being a heel here, saying, I would love to give you this match, but I already have a match scheduled with Trick Williams for this championship at WrestleMania, so I will give you a rematch. You're just going to have to wait until after WrestleMania. The crowd hated that. They booed it out of the building. And Trick Williams is saying, where's your integrity? Where's that underdog mentality? And he's basically calling Sami Zayn everything that ends with involving ginger. Gingerbread, ginger beard, ginger hair, ginger snap. Making fun of Sami Zayn. And Sami's like, fine. You want your rematch for the United States Championship? You got it. But I'm going to tell you right now, once I beat you tonight, we're going to put this to bed, and it's going to be me versus Trick Williams at WrestleMania. So that is the main event of SmackDown. Aleister Black versus Matt Cardona. Aleister Black wins in 12 minutes. I don't really care about it. Lyra Valkyria and Bayley versus Charlotte and Alexa Bliss. I'm actually shocked at the result of this. I thought this was for sure going to end in a DQ. It did not. Charlotte and Alexa won. They debuted a pretty cool double team, like tag team, like finisher, I guess, or whatever it is. I don't care about the Fatal 4-Way match at WrestleMania, but they get the win here. And Nia and Lash Legend, they hit the ring, and they take out Bayley and Lyra and Charlotte and Alexa. No Bellas this week because Nikki twisted her ankle. I guess that's what they were saying on commentary. R-Truth granted Kit Wilson and The Miz. Now we're in hour 3. Later on, earlier in the night, R-Truth granted Kit Wilson and The Miz a tag team title match, and his reasoning behind it was they were cursed. They're cursed by Danhausen, so it's all gonna work out. So it's these guys in the ring. Danhausen is talking to Kit Wilson and The Miz in the back. He's saying he can undo their curse and help them win the tag team championships. They yell in his face. So, right as The Miz was about to say something, Danhausen left. So, we get Truth and Damian Priest defending the tag team titles against Kit Wilson and The Miz. Everybody's laid out, and Danhausen comes out. And I believe this is the first time since Elimination Chamber that Danhausen is featured on a segment that isn't backstage. So Danhausen hit the ring, and he is looking for a tag. And The Miz looks up, and he tells him to get out of the ring. And he's screaming at Danhausen to get out. You don't belong here. Miz is screaming at the referee to throw him out. R-Truth sees him up there. R-Truth tags Danhausen. Crowd erupts. Miz turns Danhausen around, screams at him to get out of the ring. And then the referee was standing next to The Miz. Danhausen's about to curse The Miz, but he curses the referee instead. So Danhausen bails as Miz was about to put him in a skull-crushing finale. The lights go out. Danhausen escapes. He's up on the stage. And Kit Wilson, R-Truth hits the attitude adjustment on Kit Wilson. Miz hits skull crushing finale on R-Truth. The referee counts to 2, and he hurts his arm because he has been cursed by Danhausen. The crowd popped big. The crowd laughed. So the referee doesn't know what to do. Miz is screaming at him. Damian Priest takes him out. He takes out Kit Wilson. South of Heaven chokeslam to The Miz. And Dan Angler counts to 3 with his left arm. So, I mean, it's dumb. It's stupid. Yes, that is true. It's very dumb. But this is also Danhausen. This is also his character. And people like it. And you know what? I wish this wasn't the state of the WWE Tag Team Championships. It's at a very bad state right now where we don't even have actual teams challenging for the tag team titles. We don't have an actual team holding the tag team titles. Okay? R-Truth and Damian Priest, they formed a tag team literally, 4 weeks ago maybe? It's at a bad state, but this was entertaining. I did find it entertaining. I did find it a little funny. Danhausen is awesome. Yes, it could be corny and cringe, but I was still entertained. So, I will give that match a thumbs up as to something that it was fine. I liked. Cody Rhodes came out and hit a crossroads on Kit Wilson. Then he grabbed the microphone. And credit to him. God bless Cody Rhodes. Because this man tried to come out and cut a very passionate promo. A very heartfelt promo. To try to connect with this audience as to what happened tonight. And literally, nobody gave a fuck about what this guy had to say. Because literally, everything that happened in the beginning sucked the life out of everything involving this feud. So Cody comes out and he says, out of all people Randy was on the phone with, Pat McAfee. Pat McAfee. Pat McAfee being the person on the phone with Randy Orton. It's like instead of Hulk Hogan joining Scott Steiner and Kevin Nash in the NWO, it's like Disco Inferno was the third man of the NWO. He says, what are you going to do? Are you going to fire me? It sure didn't work out for you last time. And then Cody says, to try to get people all rallied up about him versus St. Louis's own Randy Orton, he says, it's as simple as this. It's a wrestling match with 20 years of history with the two very best wrestlers to do it. He said, I am hearing those voices inside my head, finally, but you don't want to know what they have to say. Again, it's a good promo. It's very passionate. Just these people they don't care about what this guy has to say. Everything involving this feud, WWE sucked the light out of them. And then, finally, the main event of this piss-poor effort of a show. Carmelo Hayes gets his rematch against Sami Zayn. I missed how Melo got injured. He was holding his knee up on the turnbuckle. Referee was checking him. Sami Zayn was just standing there. A Luva kick behind the ref's back. So Sami again took advantage of a situation and retained the United States Championship. The crowd booed. Trick hit the ring, attacked Sami to a very flat ending on Smackdown, and just a very, very piss poor show. I cannot wait to see the rating that this show gets this week. So that's all I got to say. Very long podcast. There's a lot happening tonight. A lot to get off my chest, but that's going to do it, guys. Subscribe to the channel. Comment down below your thoughts on tonight's episode of Smackdown. Hit the like button if you like what you heard from me. Follow me on Twitter at Conlon_Joseph. TikTok as well. And I will see you guys sometime next week. I will not be doing a Monday Night Raw review on Monday. So we will look out for the next video coming next week. So have a good night, guys. Stay safe. And as always, stay classy and love wrestling. Peace.